11 years exactly today when we launched. It's our 11th anniversary, and I could not be more excited for the future of Skift. These last 11 years have been incredible. Ups and downs, the early highs of creating something out of nothing to becoming the most influential media brand, and hopefully on the way to become the most influential brand in all of travel. We have said for many years that we are defining the future of travel. This is what you see here behind me. I elaborate on it a little bit, saying we decipher and define the future of travel. So the deciphering part is where we talk to people in the industry, reporting, research, all different kinds of things we do at Skift, our events. And then we connect the dots and figure out with the future of travel, where the future of travel is going. Not so much futuristic, but sort of 2 steps ahead, next coming year, next coming few years. And that as an operating philosophy has stood up very well. One of my biggest things is how do we stay relevant as a company, as a media company that's been called cool and fresh since really when we started. One of the challenges of that is at some point you become uncool, just a law of nature. If you're called cool, at some point you become uncool. And so my goal is to continue to think about relevance. The Skift's overall arching goal, I have said this many times internally as well as externally, for us, what innovation means is constantly coming up with new ways of looking at the world, which is a proxy to continue to figure out new relevance for us as we go along, as the global world of travel changes, particularly after such a brutal time over the last 2 years, over the last 3 years, and then obviously coming out of it over the last year and a half, almost 2 years in the Western part of the world. And so some of the larger themes that I'm interested in that is also reflected in all the work that Skift does. I put together this presentation that I gave last week at a couple of different places, and these are some of the larger themes that are outside of travel that have direct impact on the travel industry. So I'll quickly go through them. Some of the big themes that I'm watching at Skift 11 years in is where's the future of work going? Whatever the future of work is the future of travel. I'm not just talking business travel, I'm talking leisure travel as well. Because however people work and live as a result of how they're working and where they're working is what enables them to travel or not to travel, or how they're traveling, when they're traveling, where they're traveling, who they're traveling with. So if the future of work is being reinvented, which it is in many ways post-pandemic, as a result of life habits changing, as a result of tech coming in, as a result of what's starting with AI, or at least math effects of AI, is where the future of travel, both business and leisure, will go, which is why we very closely watch what's happening in the future of work. It also matters for the meetings and events industry, which we cover as part of Skift meetings as well, of however future work, if the future work is hybrid, which it is for a large part of the world that travels a lot, then meetings and events become a way for internal and external meetings and events become a way for company cultures to be created, industry cultures to be created, how industry comes together, how business happens really. And so for us, it's a very important thing. One of the second things this for me personally, the second one is probably the most interesting one, is the future of demographics and where the world is going in terms of demographic changes that are happening in the world. 2023 was the year that India became the most populous nation in the world, surpassing China. Populations in many parts of the world, including many parts in Asia, Japan, China, Vietnam being a few examples, and then Europe, Italy, Spain, Portugal, etc., are at the cusp of societies that are not reproducing at the birth rate. What that means is that these societies are getting older a lot quicker than we thought. population has in general, in many of these countries, have reached a peak. This is the youngest the world will ever be. From here on, it's going to get older. What does that mean for the business of travel, the products the industry sells, how it sells, who does it aim it at? If travel marketing and in general travel has sort of slavishly, at least on the leisure side, slavishly led a pursuit of the youth or young, when the world becomes a lot older, people are living a lot longer. This is the other part that intersects with the demographic changes. The longevity is obviously a real thing, and the world is just, people are living a lot longer. They're living a lot longer, healthier, and so the long-term changes and even the short-term changes that are happening. As I mentioned, India will become the world's largest outbound market in the next 5 to 7 years, guaranteed, just in terms of numbers, volumes. And Skift has been covering it a lot. What does that mean for the travel industry? The third theme that the future of tech. And so future of tech, we're looking for from many different ways, but a couple of sort of new ways is obviously what happens with AI, and then what happens with interaction tech. The Apple Vision Pro is an example of it. I won't dwell too much on it. It's not the metaverse. It turns out it is really augmented reality in the broadest sense. And if that really becomes the digital interface in which we interact with the world, what does it mean for digital channels and how we access travel, etc.? That's the future of interaction part. On the tech side. On the AI side, lots of different threads. We've talked about from really the last 8 months on how does the booking interface change? How does the matching happens between what people are asking and what the queries are being returned? What does the conversational interface, if that's what it becomes, what does it become? How do companies change as a result of AI coming in and increasing efficiencies all across the board? And so a lot of these, one of the personal things that I'm quite interested in, what happens to Google Maps in an age of conversational AI where you can ask, and I did a video a few months ago, I think April, on the intersection of generative AI and location is a fascinating one, where it just becomes a lot easier for you to get answers out of Google Maps that you're looking for. In a conversational interface married to the accuracy, or at least the promise of accuracy of generative AI. And so that's another one I'm looking at. Future of activism, the last two are the future of activism and future of polarization, which are related. Activism in terms of what are the pressures coming on companies, large companies, to cut their carbon footprint, and what it means for corporate travel. So companies like Deloitte, Ernst & Young, some of the largest buyers of travel, have put targets, and one of the first things they will cut, Microsoft as well, one of the first things they will cut is corporate travel. And so the larger the noise, and I don't mean noise in a bad way, the larger the conversation from people who are pushing for change, from companies, the bigger effect it has on the business of travel, particularly business travel, but also on the consumers in terms of, flight shaming is just an iteration of it, but it will continue to intensify. You're seeing examples of it happening in Greece, where people that are flying are being shamed into flying into what essentially is a climate crisis and forest fires going out there. Same with the larger ESG beyond just carbon footprint, and and what effect it has on people traveling and how companies are perceived in the travel industry, how travel companies are perceived. The future of polarization, which essentially is a mix of geopolitics and certainly wherever China wants to send its hundreds of millions of tourists, that's where they will go. And so if the fight between the West and China continues the way it is, Chinese travelers won't be traveling. Certainly, so far the evidence is just not happening, even though their economy technically is open. the challenges, the culture wars. So one of the other themes that we cover quite a bit is culture wars, whether whatever's happening in U.S. states, for instance, in Texas, in Florida, Georgia, many other states in boycotts against brands that happen both from all sides of the aisle. And this happening across the world in different ways, in different regions. So what does that mean for the future of travel? So 11 years in, these are some of the themes: future of work, future of demographics, future of tech, future of activism, and future of polarization. These are the 5 things that I'm quite interested and keen on and continue to watch. Thank you for coming along for this journey. You will see a lot more coming from us as a company. In this year, we brought on some exciting talent. We're deep into AI. We're launching new products. We launched a short-term rental product earlier this year. We're launching India podcast. For us, India has become big. We're launching new conferences in 2024, soon to be announced. Our big Skift Global Forum is coming up, year 10, September 26th to 28 in New York City. Our year 2 of Skift Aviation Forum is coming up in Dallas, November 1. Our year 2 also of Skift Global Forum East, that was just a blockbuster for us last year, is coming again in December 10th to 12th, I think, around that time in Dubai. This amazing venue, which we can't yet disclose, but very soon. Incredible venue. So tons coming from Skift Research, Airline Weekly, Daily Lodging Reports, Skift Meetings, Skift Text, which is the brand content agency, Skift Advisory, which is our new unit. I can keep on Skift Podcasts, Ask Skift. All right, thank you, folks, and here's to another 11 years. Thank you.